سلام، من مرتضی هستم و این یک ویدیوی دیگر از انگلیش with مرتضی است. در برنامه امروز به بخش دوم مهمترین سوال میپردازیم. چگونه میتوانیم انگلیسی را روانتر و دقیق‌تر صحبت کنیم؟ Let me ask you a question before going forward. How do you proceed your English learning program with our channel? Please write it down your points of view below in the comment section. I'm going to read them individually and bring a lot of changes accordingly. اگر برای بار اول است ویدیوهای ما را تماشا میکنین، برای حمایت از ما چینل ما را لایک، سابسکرایب و کلید زنگوله را فشار بدید. این برای شما کمک میکنه بتونین از ویدیوهای بعدی ما آگاه شوین و کل موارد ارزشمند در بابت به یادگیری زبان انگلیسی یاد بگیرید. در برنامه امروز میخوایم یکی از مهمترین بحث سریع انگلیسی صحبت کردن را به شما آموزش بدم. A lot of contractions with the vowel linking sounds. Now let's go forward to understand what they are and how can we observe it to speak English naturally and fluently. Now let's consider some other words and examples with the W sound. If the words begin with the two sounds, u, so you have to be cautious that you can exactly add a W sound in order to connect the two words together. Let's understand some examples to better understand. Go out. Go out. No other. No other. Show off. Show off. Do you see? وقتی کلمه show off نمایش گذاشتن و کلمه show off رو میخوایم تلفظ کنیم، کلمه show و کلمه off از هم مجزا تلفظ نمیشن. show یک صدای و خیلی خورد اضافه میشه. show off. show off. So this is the way that native English speakers would typically pronounce it. So let's see the other example. Grow up. Grew up? No. Grow up. An extra W sound, an extra W sound. So old. So old. خیلی کونه است. شما نمیان کلمه so و old را از هم جدا کنین. بگین so old. No. So old. So old. So that's the way that native English speakers would typically pronounce it. Another example. To ask. No. To ask. To ask. To ask. To ask. That's going to be the way that we have to cautious to pronounce it. So let's experience some other sounds with U sound. Too often. No. Too often. Too often. Throw it. No. Throw it. Another example. You are. No. You are. You are. You are. So let's experience some other example. Value of. No. Value of. Value of. So the other example. Grow up. Grow up. So this is the way that native English speakers would add ye and w sound between the words in order to understand or in order to connect the two words correctly and appropriately. This is the time to jump into the other topic. Let's consider some other contractions that Americans don't usually constantly say them. So, native English speaker would typically shorten some of the words and say them. They're not going to pronounce them completely. For example, going to. I am going to go to school. I am going to call you. Now, they would say, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you. Let's understand what kind of contractions do we have in English. The number of the contractions that we've got in English could be numerous. But I have selected some of the contractions that are very often Or the Americans would usually use them in their daily talks and in daily conversation. So let's experience. Let me. Americans would usually say it, let me. Instead of saying let me, they would say let me. So for example, let me go, they would say let me go. Another example, in front of, they would say in front of. He is in front of my house. They would say he is in front of my house. In front of my house. Another, are you? Yeah. Are you? Yeah. For example, how are you doing? How you doing? How ya doing? Another example, because. They won't say because. They would say cause. I go to school because I want to learn. I go to school because I want to learn. Another example, did you? Americans and native English speaker would say, did you? Did you go to school? Did you go to school? Did you call me? Did you call me? So they would say, did you? Another example, does she? They would say, does she? Does she help me? So they would say, does she help me? Does she? Does she? So ایرانی ها به برادرش میگن does she. So that's the way that Americans would usually say, does she? Does she? All right. Another example, don't know. So they would say, don't know. I don't know English. I don't know English. They would say, I don't know English. Don't know. I don't know English. Another example, give me. They won't say, give me. They would say, give me. For example, give me your pen. قلمت رو بده برای من. So they would usually say, give me the pen. Give me your pen. Give me your pen. All right? Goodbye. خداحافظ. Goodbye. So Americans would say goodbye. Goodbye. They would say, they won't say goodbye. Goodbye. So this is the way. Another example. Have to. When they're going to pronounce it naturally, they would say have to. Have to. All right? Another example, he. They won't say he. They would say he. He is my brother. Americans would say, he's my brother. He is my brother. All right? So, another word is him. The object pronoun of he. Americans would say m. Call him. بهش زنگ بزنید. So, Americans would say, call him. Call him to come. زنگ بزن بهش که بیاید. So another example, just. So Americans would usually say just. For example, I have just arrived. حمال رسیدم. So Americans would say I've just arrived. Another example, is that. Native English speaker would say is that. Is that. Is that your car? آیا آن موتر شماست? So they would say, is that your car? Is that your car? All right. Another example. Leave me. تنهایم بگذار. برو بیرون. Americans, a native English speaker would say, leave me. Leave me alone. Let me, please. So the last word is out of. Americans would say that, oughta. Get out of here. They would say, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here, please. برو بیرون لطفا. It was all the program for today's session. And I really hope that you enjoyed and learned a lot of things from today's session. If you think today's program was helpful and it helps you to learn English easier and faster, please like, subscribe, and press the ring bell. It helps you to be aware of our further videos and learn English easier and faster.